Hey everybody, it's Charlie. This is going to be my non-spoilery Ant-Man and the Wasp review. I will explain where it falls in the timeline without talking too much about spoilers, but it was totally a breath of fresh air now that the dust has settled from Infinity War. So if you're finding me for the first time, be sure to subscribe to get all the Marvel videos. There's also a new round of that Infinity War Blu-ray giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave a comment on the video. I'll name a new winner at the end of this. So the film itself mostly focuses on developing the Wasp character. Pretty clear to say that Kevin Feige said that the thing that he was most excited about for this film was the Wasp character, talking mostly about Hope's character. But they've had this Avengers #1 blow-up picture in the Marvel Studios offices for a long time, but it's been a long time since we've had the actual Avengers movie, but they haven't been able to do all the characters from Avengers #1. No Ant-Man and no Wasp for a long time. So when it came time to do the movie, Kevin Feige said he was most excited to actually fulfill the promise of Avengers #1, because now we finally have that really badass version of the Wasp. And you'll come out of the movie wondering, why the hell haven't they done the Wasp before now? And mostly that's because they hadn't done Ant-Man yet. They changed the Hank Pym character. And even though they do change a couple things from the comics, Marvel movies in general are still informed by what happened in the comics. So one thing at a time, you do Ant-Man, you do Hank Pym, then you introduce the new versions of the characters. So finally, we get our Wasp. And Evangeline Lilly killed it. I'll say, I liked her better in this movie than I did in the first Ant-Man movie. They gave you a bit of a taste of that character, so you have an idea of how badass she is, but you never actually get to see her in a costume till now. On top of that, there's this big generational theme to the story. You have parents and children, fathers and daughters, because you have this Hope-Hank relationship from the first film that carries over, but now you also have Janet Van Dyne's character. They find a way to weave that theme in with the villain, Hannah John Kamen's Ghost character. But to be clear, there isn't a real Thanos-type Marvel villain in this film. In the way that Thanos was the villain of Infinity War or Obadiah Stane was the villain of the first Iron Man film, there's this new breed of Marvel character that they're introducing in their films. Really good villains. Killmonger, Loki are really good examples of that. Loki was almost an aberration from Phase 1, like one of the very few really awesome villain characters, but you get to Black Panther and Michael B. Jordan just absolutely kills it. Hannah John Kamen, also an amazing performance as what you would call the villain of the film. She's more of the antagonist, not so much the villain, but you do understand her perspective. And even though obviously the film's very different from Black Panther, she is a very Killmonger type character. Somebody with a big axe to grind that does go off the rails, but she's not like a mustache twirling villain that's only in it for money or some stupid motivation. She does have a really good arc and a really good motivation for wanting things from the main characters that put them at odds. So charting it in the timeline, I think it's not a spoiler to say that this movie takes place before the Snapshot, so that's why you're seeing all this Civil War stuff that's referenced in all the trailers. Hope tells Ant-Man, "Why didn't you call me when Captain America called you? I could have prevented you from getting caught after Civil War. You wouldn't be under house arrest now." So there's this period of time that they're playing with before the Snapshot, and even though the plot of the movie is meant to be very self-contained, like you can go into this movie not really knowing anything about Infinity War. I don't know anybody that's going to see this, though, that has not just seen Infinity War, but there are a couple big moments that tie it to what just happened and what's happening in Avengers 4, mostly pushing you into Avengers 4. So yes, there are 2 post-credit scenes. Make sure you stay through the entire end credits. I would say they were about 95% of what I expected. Marvel post-credit scenes nowadays are usually a mixture of really funny ha-ha moments and then moments that push you into the plot of the next film. A little bit like Thor Ragnarok's post-credit scenes, like one funny moment with the characters and then one moment tying you to the events of what's happening during the Avengers films. If you haven't been following the press tour, Lawrence Fishburne and Michael Douglas are on fire. Lawrence Fishburne himself, he plays Goliath in the movie, and they do a really good job with his character. Not quite what I expected them to do with the character, but he has a bit of a Steve Jobs, Bill Gates relationship with Hank Pym. They have a fun way of invoking Marvel Comics history where, there was a period in the comics where Goliath became the new giant man of the Avengers, but he called himself Goliath. So within the context of the movie, he and Hank used to work together. So they have a fun relationship during the movie in present day because now they're both kind of grumpy old men. But Hank was his old mentor, so the movie itself does trade a lot on the mistakes of Hank Pym in the past. Like if you remember during the first Ant-Man movie, you got the flashback, so you got a little taste for what Hank Pym was like when he was younger, his mistrust of other people, the temper that he had. Some of the big character twists and turns trade on mistakes that Hank made in the past, so they have a really cool way of filling in a lot of Marvel MCU backstory, like, oh, all this stuff was happening during this period in time that we haven't seen yet. So like now, Michael Douglas has been saying, I totally want to come back and do a younger version of my character in a future Marvel film. Who knows if they would do that, because it is kind of expensive to do that CG to de-age people. I would love to see more of young Michelle Pfeiffer, because just like Wasp in this movie, Hope Van Dyne is a total badass. Michelle Pfeiffer is also a total badass as the original version of the Wasp. So if you're a longtime Janet fan from the comics, I feel like they do a good job of doing her honor, but you do have to remember the characters' ages in present day. Like Hope and Scott are the main versions of the characters now, but they do have a lot of classic Avengers moments, even though technically in the MCU, Nick Fury is the person who created the Avengers Initiative. Michael Pena was awesome. He stole most of the scenes that he was in, just like he did during the first Ant-Man film. Pretty much that entire crew comes back from the first Ant-Man film. They have this funny business called X-Con. Kevin Feige was wearing their hat at the Ant-Man and the Wasp premiere, so everybody was wondering if he was wearing that as a sort of wink at the X-Men deal that's about to go through at Disney. But that is the name of their business, but I also think it's a bit of a double entendre, like, yeah, haha, X-Men stuff coming in the future. If you're a big Justified fan, Walton Goggins does an amazing job during the film. Not exactly what I expected from his character, but he's playing Sonny Birch, another person from the comics. I'll talk a little bit more about that stuff when I get to my Easter egg video. The music was great. Tonally, the film was just much lighter, as the trailers have implied. I was also pleasantly surprised that there weren't any big fake trailer moments that we thought that we were going to be getting from now on. Like, you saw all the money that Marvel spent on that fake Hulk in the Infinity War trailer, and you just wonder if they're going to be doing this from now on, but I guess that's a case-by-case basis, maybe just for the Avengers films. So overall, the film, definitely the breath of fresh air that everybody's talking about after Infinity War. Good palate cleanser, but also works really well as a big summer blockbuster film. I wouldn't say that it's absolutely necessary that you watch it before Avengers 4, but there are a couple of big moments and concepts that they introduce that will be critical to the plot of Avengers 4. So yes, it is important to watch it. Don't wait till later this year when it hits Blu-ray. So what'll happen is just like I do for normal Marvel films, is I'll do post-credit scenes, Easter eggs, spoiler review, all that stuff later this week after people have a chance to see the movie. Be sure to go see it. Once you do, let me know in the comments what you thought of it. I'm going to wait to rank this film on my list of favorite Marvel films till I have a chance to see it one or two more times. So I'll do that when I do my spoiler review or my Easter egg video. Congratulations to the latest giveaway winner, Ironhide. Please private message me so I can get your contact details. I'll name a new winner when I post new Marvel. But click here to learn about Kevin Feige teasing Young Avengers during Phase 4, and click here for that Avengers 4 Comic-Con panel. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.